we should embrace AI as pervasive. AI is like the internet once was. Like in the beginning, you could do something physically or you could do it virtually on the internet, right? But that distinction quickly faded away. And I think AI will be the same. So it's not a matter of how or why, it's really about how well and how soon can we incorporate AI into our daily rhythms and our work overall. I'm really trying to strive to reach that so that it's not thought of as an add-on.
Welcome back to Trailblazers, the series where we shine the spotlight on HR, talent, and L&D leaders who are not just talking about the future of work, they're building it. Powered by our friends at Valence, this is where AI meets impact, where bold ideas are being transformed into real business outcomes and better employee experiences. In each episode, we sit down with pioneers who are putting AI into practice, not just in theory, and driving change that matters. Today's Trailblazer is Tracy St.Dic, who's a global head of talent at Zapier. In this conversation, Tracy shares where her AI journey began and the early moments that showed her that it wasn't just hype, it was real. She'll also talk about the mindset shifts that helped her team move from hesitation to experimentation and why giving employees direct access to AI tools was a game changer. Trace doesn't shy away from the realities either. She opens up about the surprises along the way, the lessons learned, and why culture and communication are just as critical as the technology. And finally, for those just starting their AI journey, Tracy leaves us with one clear, powerful piece of advice that every HR leader needs to hear. With that being said, let's dive in. Tracy, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you again. People don't know this, they're listening, but we did a podcast recently and I was so excited by it that I was like, oh my God, we need to have you on
I'm happy to be back.
An episode of Trailblazers. So I discovered the Trailblazer during the podcast, and now here you are. How are you?
First of all, I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to continue our conversation.
Amazing. Let's just jump straight in. You know, where did your AI journey start, and what's been one clear early impact that you've seen in the organization?
Our AI journey at Zapier started really in earnest in March 2023. It was about 6 months after ChatGPT really burst into the scene on public consciousness. So it was very clear to our leadership team that AI wouldn't just impact the tools that we use, but how the work itself gets done. So our CEO, Wade Foster, published like an internal blog. It was like a real rallying cry. He called this moment a code red. And that was the pivot point, I think. As an automation platform, we knew AI was going to boost our product and also our internal ways of operating. So it was time to like get moving in that direction. So to be honest, it wasn't automatically embraced at first. As you can imagine, like many organizations out there, people were really hesitant and we weren't quite clear what this meant. What does it mean to like start using AI more and make everything AI first? What did that mean at the time? But since the investment started with every team leader, the charge was really clear. And I think that helped unblock things like the explicit encouragement to explore, to innovate, and to experiment were really helpful. So early on, some of the things that we did to jumpstart is at the very beginning, first, we published our AI use guidelines. It was very helpful for people to have clarity and understand the boundaries in which they could use AI. What data and tooling can you use? Where can you ask questions? That allowed people to really run with innovation. And then the second thing I think was very effective that we did is we tried to build it into our existing rituals. So it wasn't a new thing that we had to adopt as much as how can we build this into everything we already do? So one example would be our hack weeks. We had a hack week very shortly after this code red, and that's where the whole company was encouraged to spend time experimenting with AI, not just for the benefit of our customers, but also our own internal collaboration, our internal work as well. And so we call this effort Zapier on Zapier. And we really tried to figure out how can we use AI and how can we use Zapier's AI products to continue to, really boost our work at Zapier. So those were two really big things early on. I would say the impacts that we've seen in numbers, quantifiably, today we have more AI agents than we have employees. Like we have over 800 agents, way over 800 agents, supporting just under 800 people. We have 800 people globally at Zapier, but I would say between our agents and our automation, like that impact is probably tenfold that. But that's not just efficiency. It's really a strategic shift towards empowering our team to orchestrate AI, not just do the work themselves. And the last time we ran our internal surveys, 89% of Zapier said that they use AI daily. That's an April stat. So I can only imagine it's increased by there. And of course, we're trying to get to 100.
Yeah.
So that's quantitatively. Qualitatively, I can say on the people team, it's transformed absolutely everything from how we hire, how we onboard, even how we deliver feedback and compile insights for performance reviews. So I think across the company, the impact is that AI is much more universally embraced, and we've created more of a psychologically safe environment where we're building and sharing. It's really celebrated and encouraged.
It's crazy that only a few months ago we were talking about on one of our events that in the future, at some point, companies are gonna have more agents than people.
Yes, I actually think I read an article like that. At some
And
point,
we're
you'll have to,
already here.
yeah, your
You're,
workforce is how many agents, how many people, and
it's
we very easily and quickly surpass that. Even I'm building agents, and I was not a builder. I do not know how to code. I don't know how to do a lot of the things our engineers can do, but if I can do it, I think most people can.
Yeah. Quick tactical question.
Yeah.
When you mentioned releasing your AI policy or guide, who was involved in that process in the organization?
Oh, that was our general counsel. That was our head of our associate general counsel, what we call Laura Delgadio, who is legal for people and runs all of our people policies. It also included Brandon Samud, our chief people officer, and our head of diversity, inclusiveness, belonging, and equity, Maggie Roque. So there were multiple people involved of how we thought about our AI use policy, everything from a DEI lens to a legal lens to a real people operations
Yeah.
lens.
I just wanted to point that out because I feel like maybe that may not be obvious to people, but very important, right?
Yeah, it's one of the like unsexy first things that you
Yes.
when you start
Yeah.
getting into AI, but it's very important because research shows that when you actually give people boundaries, they can be a lot more creative versus all the gray area of how you're actually supposed to utilize this brand new life-changing tool.
Yeah, we've seen with other technology innovations that a lot of the time it's a lot about the mindset shift and the culture shift more so
Mm.
than the technology. So, what are some of the perspectives on mindset shifts that have helped you navigate this early stage of AI adoption and exploration?
I think you're absolutely right. I would say most of it is mindset shift, to be honest. So there are three things that I lean on a lot with my team. So first of all, our CTO, Brian Helmig, said very early on, you can delegate the work, but not the accountability. And that has been our compass, especially on the people team. We use AI to surface insights, we synthesize feedback, create efficiencies, but a human is always in the loop for decisions that matter, including and especially any decisions involving employment, which is most of our HR work. So that helps us understand how, when, why we should be using AI, how we should be more in AI enabled, and also why we wouldn't use it. So those guardrails have been critical. And I think that unlocked a lot for us. Second thing, and I say this to my team all the time, I share this analogy, we should embrace AI as pervasive. AI is like the internet once was. Like in the beginning, you could do something physically or you could do it virtually on the internet, right? But that distinction quickly faded away. And I think AI will be the same. For example, right now, my team could not do their jobs without the internet, without Wi Fi, right? In the future, AI can and will be the same way. So it's not a matter of how or why, it's really about how well and how soon can we incorporate AI into our daily rhythms and our work overall. I'm really trying to strive to reach that so that it's not thought of as an add-on.
Yeah.
And that's sort of my last piece of the kind of three mindset shifts is we embrace this idea of move fast and learn quickly, find the easy wins, experiment and refine constantly, and really rethink the work itself. Like stop thinking about AI as this add-on tooling and start thinking of it as a partner. And that shift from, should we automate this to how might we do this better was really, really critical, especially in HR where the work is human centered. The instinct can be like caution first, which is good in most cases, but we embrace this idea that AI could amplify and not replace our work. Another quote from our CTO, Brian Helmig, I reference him a lot. He said, if you think AI will make you do less work, you are wrong. It's so you can do more work. And by more work, we mean more impact.
More
That
value.
got us
Yeah.
over the hump of like, oh, AI will replace my job fears to nope, AI is something I can use to be really empowered. And that I think has been critical for all of Zapier and myself included.
Yeah. No, I love all of that, especially the mindset of move fast, learn
Yeah.
quickly, and then sort of breaking it down into those three frameworks of find easy wins, like you did early on, right?
Mhm.
Experiment and refine, and then
Yes,
rethink work itself, which I'm glad you added that in there because this is going to fundamentally change the way in which work gets done, right?
absolutely.
In every area. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you try and apply AI to the existing frameworks, tools, and processes, it's not going to work. It's like when
Yeah.
everyone tried to apply the same thing to remote work. Like we
Yeah.
like we went remote, and no one changed the systems and processes and the way people were ordered, etc. And they were like, oh, why does it not work?
That is a really good parallel as well. And I think one of the things we're trying to do right now at Zapier is move from adoptive to transformative. We've said the past 2 years has been our adoption journey. And I think about that as how can I use AI to make my work easier? How can I be more productive and efficient? Right. We want to move from that to true transformation, which is how is the work changing? How is the work actually done differently? To your point, is like, how are we thinking about how, why, when, who does the work in a completely different way than just saying, how can we just make what we currently do a little bit better and save a few more hours?
Yeah.
That's the change that I think organizations are going to have to make very quickly and moving into the future.
It's so interesting if you look at any topic like that and say who, what, when, where, why, how, and go through those, it opens up
Yeah.
a whole nother conversation, right? Because we kind of have bias to look for it through the same lenses that we've always have, and it's something different.
This
Um,
moment is calling on us to question and to get really curious of why things are the way they are and how might they be different.
yeah. Can you share some real examples of how you're putting AI in the hands of your workforce, and what's actually changed because of it?
Hmm. Yes, there are so many use cases, but the root of the change, in my opinion, I think is time and experimentation. So increasing your AI use is something you get better at the more you practice with it, right? You have to play with it. You need real time to do so. And when we ran our survey back in the spring about the how much Zapians were using AI in their daily work, some of the barriers to using it more was learning to trust AI and also having the time to experiment. So a focus on carving out this time to experiment and also training folks on some specific tools, I think has been really empowering and unblocked our team. So in our case, we use Zapier as a tool for our own work. I mean, we dog food our own products. So we started training our current team more on how to use Zapier's AI assisted workflows, such as agents, to tackle more tasks. People think agents are super complicated. They're actually one of the easiest things to build. So we really spent time having more informal building and learning sessions at our retreats. We had enablement sessions with different teams. Even our employee resource groups are taking up this charge to do more AI building sessions with their members and, again, their own communities, which is really lovely to see. And then we have Slack channels focused on AI for beginners. We have these hackathons and hack weeks I mentioned once a quarter. We all are trying to encourage folks to take the time, making it easier for them to play and learn very quickly with more confidence, more trust, and more empowerment. So two really quick examples I'll say. One is for the people team, we did a hackathon at our summit, and it was so cool to see. We basically, the premise was we have an hour and a half, you know, get together in small teams and see what you can build. Just play around with it. In 45 minutes, the little team that I was in built an almost completely a workflow flow that could almost completely replace our third party reference check tool. And in many
No
cases was
way.
better. Yeah, because it was more customized to us. It was more customized to our process. That workflow alone would save us 20 or 30K a year. And again, 45 minutes, we got like 80% of the way there. And the forcing function was there because we had the time and space to experiment. And again, not engineers, people team members on my team, on my talent acquisition team, built that in 45 minutes. That's one example. Second example, if you think about team productivity and really transforming how we do work, during one of our hack weeks, a handful of folks from our customer support team used AI to code a new application for Zendesk, which is what we use for customer support.
Mm-hmm.
That's our tool. It was trained on a lot of Zapier product context, and it was able to summarize these otherwise very long customer tickets into something actionable that a customer support teammate could pick up and solve the customer's problem more quickly. This was so successful. Again, came out of a hack week. This was so successful. It is now used across our whole global support team, and it's enabled that team to reduce their average ticket handle time by 50% over the last 2 years. And our support team's engagement scores has increased too. So it's having a positive impact both on productivity, customer value, and on team culture. And I think that's just a beautiful example of when you give people the time and space to solve a problem they have, they can get really creative with AI and they can do something that can be more transformational, not just for your customers, but also for your own team as well.
Yeah.
So that
and
one was
and
really,
and those, what I love about those as well is especially the last one, is that's come from people on the front line,
yeah,
because like the leadership team would not understand that, they wouldn't connect with like, oh, if I can summarize what the question the customer's asking me, that's the quicker I can reply. Because I have known when I've been asking some of those assistance questions myself, I give a very long-winded version of what I, and you see them typing away. If they had a quick summarization, like summary of what I want, and it's trained on the context, to your point, which is the
yeah.
most important part of the organization, which is only going to get better, right? As well over time. I love those examples. What would you say is like been the biggest challenge? You know, this is all great and amazing, but what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome?
I think that it's just the wild west out there, Chris. I think I think tech is improving so rapidly. The pace of change is something we really have to focus on increasing and improving from a change management perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking as a people leader. I actually think that a company's ability to be agile and responsive to the change is what's going to give them the edge. And then one step down from that, AI, we have to recognize AI helps but also hurts us, right? So with my talent team, we underestimated, I think, the rise in fraud and candidate fraud and job applications once our processes became more streamlined, once it became easier for all candidates to utilize AI in their job searches. So we've been really trying to tackle that. We've built our own on Zapier AI driven fraud detections app that really helps us flag when things look a little bit odd so we can investigate more. That saved our team tons of time, but we're really trying to keep up with the pace of how quickly things are changing, both for the benefit and for the harm of the work that we do.
Yeah, and that's a brand new thing. Like candidate fraud is like,
Oh,
like most people will be listening. Actually, you probably should give them an explanation of what that is. What is candidate fraud?
so I mean, think there's a huge spectrum of
Of
candidate fraud.
course.
I think it can be everything from the most extreme of, malicious players from state-sponsored terrorism trying to hack into your system, which sadly I do know a number of talent leaders who have had to deal with those issues, but all the way to just candidates using live AI assistants in their interviews or using it to do their coding tests or using it to make their resume and their application almost exactly fit your job description. So fraud and embellishment, there's a whole spectrum
Sure,
there.
sure.
And that's something that we are trying to wade through and figure out how to both continue to support candidates, keep humans in the loop where it really matters, but also utilize AI and automation to help us detect some of these things because of the huge volume of candidates and the huge volume of candidate fraud we're seeing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves, because we've the technology's evolved to solve a huge challenge that we faced, which has now opened up a whole other challenge that you have
Yeah.
too many applications and you don't know who's using the techniques that you just described, right? Which is most
Exactly.
people really. I mean, I'm saying most people, like most, I'll use it to prepare and to help create a draft, but then that, and then there's the extreme of what you described, where you're basically copy and pasting the job description and saying, write me a cover letter, write me a CV that exactly matches this, that doesn't
Yeah.
really reflect my actual experience.
I mean,
Um,
we've very recently caught deep fake candidates. We've had candidates that show up like two different people show up in
no
different
way.
interviews of the same candidate. So we've again, there's a whole spectrum. We and you have to kind of tackle each part of it.
Yeah. Well, what keeps the job fun?
Yeah,
Something to
sure,
do.
sure.
I know this is a journey, not a destination, right? Like you just said throughout this. But if you were just getting started, what advice would you give to other leaders? And also, what do you know now that you wish you did that when you got started?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I feel really adamant that for a team or company, you have to start with a clear philosophy about your team's work. Like, where do you want a human to stay in the loop in all of your work? And where do you maybe not need one that you could be more AI enabled? we're often looking at what the tech can do today, like, and we might not trust it yet. We might say, oh, the tech isn't there yet, I don't trust it. That's fine. But having a North Star to help you evaluate tools and make smart decisions when the tech gets there, because it will rapidly improve. That I think will allow people to more seamlessly weave in AI tools into your workflows because you've already envisioned how you want AI to be embedded. So instead of chasing the shiny new tool from a vendor who says, hey, we can do this for you and try to like make it work, you want to start with that vision of what do I imagine my entire workflows to be? What do I imagine my processes to look like? And where should humans be and where should AI be? I would say really, really start there. And then for the second thing, just for personal adoption, I would say don't wait for perfect readiness. Start small. Use AI for something personal and low risk, like drafting a memo or building an agent that drafts your email responses for you. Those small wins can build confidence, not only in your own ability to build, but also confidence in the tools themselves. And confidence scales. So that's what I would say from a team perspective, but a personal perspective is get in there, get your hands dirty with them, and allow yourself to be, I think, really pleasantly surprised along the way.
Yeah. Well, listen, Tracy, it's always a pleasure having you on. I appreciate you. Where can people reach you if they want to reach out and say hi?
LinkedIn, the normal channels. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and yeah, feel free to reach out and say hi for sure.
I appreciate you. And for anyone who doesn't already know Zapier, make sure you check out Zapier. There'll be a link below. I kind of been using the platform for over 10 years. Like I told you, when I first started our company, it's been a game changer. And when I saw, when I was thinking about AI, I did think about companies like your own of like, wow, you're already doing incredible automation before, right? Now AI just takes that just to a whole another level as well. So really excited for you and the team, and I love the way that you're reflecting internally what you're doing externally
Thank
as well, which
you.
is amazing. So I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much.